Glad we got the content.
Like New Year's.
Yeah, I know. Hey guys, it's Rae and Becky from the
Hello.
Oh, you're this way. I was like, ooh. You have two Teach Better team members because we just had Mastery Chat and I got to host, which was like hanging out with my family, and it was so much fun. So, Becky, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. It moved fast. That's what we were saying, right? I was like, oh my God, I can't even keep up with everybody's responses. I have to go back. I always have to go back and read through everything a little more carefully.
I know, because it goes so quick. You only get, a very small minority of the questions, and then you get to the next one. And so you want to go back to read all the responses and see what people say. And I feel like anytime we have Mastery Chat, I'm like responding for the next day or two to people's tweets.
Yeah, and then you'll see like resurface again, like in a couple days, you'll see somebody's response. So,
oh yeah, like over the weekend, educators will be like, "Oh yeah, there was Mastery Chat Thursday. Let me see what the topic is." It's always so fun.
Yeah, it was a fun topic though tonight.
Yeah, I was excited to host. I haven't hosted Mastery Chat in a very long time. I have hosted like other chats more recently, but I feel like this was the week. I hosted Mastery Chat. Jeff Gargis is hosting a chat on Saturday for a lead-up chat. And then Caitlin Giordano is hosting a chat on Sunday. I feel like the team's like all over, but it was fun to like host Mastery Chat because I was a part of, the first Mastery Chat when we started it. So it was really nice to host today.
Like I'm hosting next week with Jared Hamilton.
Oh, you are? Oh my gosh.
So you're right. It's like a total January Teach Better team.
It's so fun.
Hosting, yeah.
Well, and it's really good because I love bringing in guest hosts. I love having hosts from all over the world. But every so often when we're able to like sneak in and be like, hey, let's, talk about a different type of concept, I'm always game. So it was so fun to kind of be back with our people and just hang out on a Thursday.
Yeah. It's like an ongoing date. It's like a weekly date.
Yes, absolutely. I do love Veronica says hi. Hey, Veronica.
Hi, Veronica.
Eric says he couldn't keep up with the chat, which good. It was really quick.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. Hey, Jeff. Jeff's here too.
So Jeff is awesome. He's like, if he's not in Mastery Chat, I feel like the whole balance is off. I have a gift that Jeff gave me at Teach Better 19. I had this beautiful water bottle that he made me, and I use it every single day. So not to be creepy, Jeff, but I think of you every day. Every day.
Now he's pretty awesome, and I'm so grateful that I got to meet him at Teach Better 19. He was like one of the first people I met with the day I arrived. He was there. So yeah.
I know.
Oh, and Brianna's here, and I met her. I know. This is like, it's like a little reunion.
Hey, Brianna. So cool. Brianna was also at Teach Better 19 conference, and anytime, I don't know what my problem is, anytime she pops up somewhere, Facebook, Twitter, I don't care, Instagram, I always have this moment of like, oh my gosh, it's Brianna. I love Brianna.
She was a big help. And she also like Ubered me around while we were out there. So
I love it. Well, they were all in the chat tonight. The topic, if you guys weren't in with us, we're going to recap it all here. So feel free to stay tuned. We'll try and touch on some highlights from the chat. But the topic was your 5 people. And if you don't mind, Becky, I kind of want to talk about why that was the topic, if you don't mind.
No, absolutely.
Okay, so in my advisory class, I teach a 20-minute advisory every single day. It's not built into our schedule, but our team adapts our schedule to get this time together. And our students are sorted into houses inspired by the Ron Clark Academy, for those of you that are fans. And the Altruismo house, which is the best house, obviously, we are talking all about values. And so for the past week or so, we've done some really tough conversations around values, what we care about, all these things. And I was telling them, I'm like, I'm hosting a Twitter chat and I don't have a topic yet. And they're like, Miss Hughart, we should do it on what we've been doing in houses. So the past few days, the students put together questions, and they were kind of questions that we had discussed or we thought was challenging or important. And we put them in Mastery Chat. So I loved hosting, but I always love like doing something, knowing that my students are kind of backing me up. And so they were, I can't wait to go to school tomorrow and tell them how the chat was, because this was a fun conversation we were having already in class to now have with our family here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I do the same thing. Like I like to like take examples from real life and then bring them back into the classroom. So that's neat. I'll have to pick your brain another time. We've been tossing around the idea of kind of building in that kind of advisory period. So at another time, I'm glad you mentioned that because I'll have to talk to you about how that runs in your school.
Yeah, and just in short, like we've adapted it every year depending on mastery schedules and new team members, but this year has been the best because we do it every single day. And the students are like diehard in their houses. Houses are like when we get intruders, like it becomes silent. Like this is a very private moment where we all have together. And I'm in the black house. Altruismo is the best house. So anyway, it was just fun because it all started with a podcast I was listening to, and actually multiple, where they reference that, as a person, we become the top 5 people that we surround ourselves with. And if you're an educator, the first question that comes to mind is, does kids count?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the answer is, yes, they do.
No, absolutely.
And so do our dogs, which came up today in our Twitter chat.
I was, but does the dog count?
I know. It was great. I think you were the first one I saw ask that, but then I saw like 15 more tweets like, can I count my dog in my top 5?
Well, I do admire a lot of the qualities of my dog because he is pretty laid back and, so I need to take more tips from him sometimes.
I love it. For any of you listening right now, we're not going to touch on it, but if you follow me on Instagram, go watch my Instagram story. I had a problem during our Twitter chat that I documented on Instagram for all of you, so enjoy. But Neil's in here. Neil was actually somebody that I highlighted in the chat just for my own answers, and then I want to talk about other answers we saw, Becky. But there were 2 questions specifically where I challenged all of our network to tag somebody that's, first of all, somebody that you surround yourself with, but then second of all, somebody who like kind of challenges you and supports you as an educator. And shout out to Neil. You're the one I chose this week. It's totally true. He's constantly challenging me to be better and, step up my game. And he kind of calls me out. And I appreciate those things with people in my life. So Becky, you do the same. You're on my list. You're so important to me.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, likewise. And I have to, Neil's on my list to meet in person too, because I've been following him too. So
I've never met him in person and I want to.
But isn't that crazy? Because you really can connect with a lot of people through Twitter that you kind of form this relationship with, and they push you, and it's great. Like Jared, who I'm hosting Mastery Chat with, he lives in Canada, and we've never met in person, but we correspond a lot. Yeah.
So I saw a lot of different answers for like the top 5 people, because that was the first like welcome question. It wasn't even the first question. It was like before that. And it was like, who are the top 5 people? I saw a lot of family, a lot of coworkers, and then a lot of those, Becky, conversations with people that you may not have met, but you interact a lot on social media sites. And so you surround yourself with them because they're always around,
Yeah, absolutely.
Who did you list? Who are your like people?
I kind of broke it up. I cheated a little bit because I put like in person and then kind of virtually. But in person, definitely, my husband and my kids, and that's why I said the dog. And I also said, I gave a shout out to my partner teacher, because in reality, I spend a ton of time together, talking about students and different issues in school and stuff. So I definitely gave her, and we've been partners now for a few years, so we've really spent a lot of time together. But then I obviously said, even though I've met you in person, I don't see you all the time, but we talk back and forth, and now I'm on Vox, and you and Chad and Jeff and Tiffany and the whole Teach Better team, all of our team members and stuff. So I would definitely, for sure, you guys, because you definitely have lifted me up and made me a better teacher and a better person. And I've said that multiple times. So
fun. Well, the second question, I think, was the first one that like got people thinking. It was asking people what top 4 characteristics they see in a good friend, or it was question 2, I think.
Yep.
So did you, like, as people were reflecting on that, do you see any common themes and answers? Like top 4 characteristics that you value the most in the people you surround yourself with? What'd you feel like you saw?
I saw a lot of, actually wrote some of the words down so that I wouldn't forget. Positivity, integrity, honesty was a big one. I put honesty as my first one.
Me too.
Being kind, compassionate, a team player. open-minded, having good listening and communication skills. And then there was people who were like adding things like, being creative and thinking outside the box and stuff like that, which really is true. You need a balance of that as well.
Absolutely.
So those seem to be a lot of the common themes that I saw for that question.
Yes. I also saw like generosity. I think that's a big one, especially for educators. We give so much of ourselves to others that I think we value that when we see that same trait mirrored in other people in our lives. So being generous.
And then I put too, I really believe being reflective. And the funny thing is, like, we'll talk about that. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but like that theme kept coming up too in the later questions is the need to be reflective.
So the ones my students were dying to know, I was like, we had to go through and like edit this question over and over and over, but it was asking our participants of Mastery Chat, what characteristic they hated the most that they see in others. And like, I'm not complaining. Everybody answered the question. You had to include a GIF. It was like the GIF
part I loved. Yeah.
It was so good. However, it got like drastically negative. And I mean, you have to expect the question too. It was fine. But like, it went from like, oh, we love these characteristics to like, boom, these people are horrible. So funny.
Well, it's probably good you only kept it to pick your top one.
One.
Or we would still be there. We'd still be chatting just on that question. And that definitely had some common themes too. And I mean, the answer that I was laughing because I don't think I've ever heard this term was sheeple. So somebody posted like a sheeple, somebody who just follows along and doesn't ask questions. And I was like, that is a good, I've never really thought of that way. And like I said, I never heard of that term. And there was a whole gift to go with it, which also cracked me up. And I was like, that is so true. I retweeted that one because I thought that was pretty good. But I mean, it's go ahead.
Was like at the top of people liking and retweeting. That one was up there for a while on Twitter.
So and obviously it's the negativity and the people who are selfish. And I think I saw, which was also a good one, it was the time clock punchers. People who are there when you have to be, leave exactly when you have to be, and are not putting in, any kind of extra effort. People who are not caring about the students and putting the students first.
Yeah. One of our good friends who's a principal in Illinois, Mark Heller, had a really good one that I think reflected very well of the type of leader he is. But one of the characteristics that he wrote down, and he like said it in a sentence, I don't know one word that would describe this, but like somebody who just wants to know what to do. So somebody who just is like, tell me what to do and I'll do it, versus like, how can I take ownership over this? Can I be creative with it? Can I make it my own? Can I add a new spin? Yep. And I think that was great because that's a leader in education who's saying, I want teachers to take the reins and run with it. And I think that's exciting.
Yes, absolutely. And not everybody gets that opportunity. And so that's big too. I just noticed somebody actually put, Tammy put humor. And that is true too, because that really is a good quality. I would have put that too, because you do have to have a sense of humor.
I'm trying to think of what my 4 were. Was like humor, generosity. Mm-hmm. It was reliability.
Yes, that is a big one.
Those are my 4.
Yes, and I think I put also empathy. You have to be like empathetic. Yeah, I mean, there's really so much. Like honestly, keeping it, trying to keep, and then you're trying to type. So you're like, all right, what are the first 4 that come to my mind? But after you said the answer, you're like, oh, but now I have 12 more that I could. Like Debbie said, I would have put humor. I'm like, yes, humor. I should have put humor.
That's my least favorite thing about Mastery Chat is I'm responding in the moment. So like I see the question, it's whatever pops into my mind. I can attach a resource, attach a picture, whatever. And then you start reading other people and you're like, oh, that was a better answer. I have to retweet that. Oh, that was a way better answer. Retweet.
Yeah. See, Jeff put humor was one I was looking for. Yeah, absolutely. It's true.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we kind of went through this chat, we then tried to tie it in, and the students and I were talking about, we can talk about these positive characteristics. We can talk about these negative characteristics, but then what do we do with that information? So how do we grow as people from having this information? And then also, how do teachers, like to kind of spin it for education, how do teachers reflect on these and like share that with their students to do that? And I saw a lot of responses dealing with modeling these behaviors so students can see them. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the one thing I said. And I said, that's where we come back to the reflective piece, that it's so important for you to be reflective and to really admit, which goes back to a lot of people were talking about growth mindset. And so to admit that, we're not perfect and we do have bad days. And, I said one of the things, and people were coming back to their one word, kind of the one word that they picked for, 2020 and trying to kind of come back to that, and that you have to kind of focus on that. And it's not easy to do. It's, and anybody that tells you it is lying, or as I've said, has not been doing this job very long. If they think it's easy, it's really not. I mean, even today, I've been trying, really making an effort to be more positive in general. And I picked positivity as my word for 2020. And I got, caught up in a couple conversations today, admittedly, where I was being negative. And I own that. And, but I think it's, I think that half the battle is realizing that, that you are taking ownership for that. And that's what we tell the kids to do.
Yeah. And I think what I like about this, Becky, is that you just touched on two different things. One is like the strategies we need as a teacher to model these characteristics consistently, and the strategies we can bring to model it for our students consistently. Because a strategy, I mean, people pick one words for the year as a strategy to remind them of what their focus is. It's a tactical step that you listening could take on right now to say, here's my focus. Here's how I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to create a one word, write it on your bathroom mirror or put it on a Post-it in your car, right? Give yourself that daily reminder. And I saw a lot of the flip side on Mastery Chat saying, okay, as a teacher, I know these are my core values. I operate on these core values, but here are the resources I'm going to use moving forward to actually show students these. And there was a lot of activity shared, games shared, good discussions. That's what I love about Mastery Chat is not just these overarching ideas like, yay-ha, let's be good people.
Yes.
But how do we do that?
No, I did. That's what I said. It's so important to go back to the chat and look at all of those because they really are good. They're huge. They're great resources.
Yeah, I love that. The only other one that I thought was cool that my students were excited to do, and they wanted to have me share it somehow, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it tomorrow, but it was, okay, you just spent an hour talking about characteristics that you admire. You just spent all this time sharing resources, talking about how you as a teacher are going to, continue to share these values. Can you identify in this chat one person and share your appreciation for them connected back to the values? And I think people were excited for this, but it was a tough one to try and only pick one person. I was just going to say, it is so hard to only pick one.
Yeah, I mean, and I had to put my screen up, so I had to kind of for it to be back of me. So I was kind of missed the last question myself, but it is hard to pick one person. But I think that's a good activity. I really like that you brought this to your students and had your students be involved in that, because I think that is it actually gets me thinking. I'm like, oh wow, maybe I could kind of, because I'm actually getting them to start tweeting. And sending out, student grams, I call them, on Instagram. So it's kind of part of that whole social media responsibility and what kind of discussions can you generate. And that would be kind of cool to have them do it. But anyway, yeah, I think that, because we're trying to teach this to the kids, right? That you can give compliments to other people and say what it is that you value about them.
Absolutely. And I think that the ability to do that, not only on social media, but also in real life is so important. I was listening to a podcast of Gary Vee, which I won't get into, but it was this idea that when we're upset about something, it's really easy to complain about it. But when we're appreciative about something, we don't always share that. And so modeling that not only on Twitter during this chat, but also tomorrow when you go to school is something really important. And not just with students, with colleagues, with administrators, with everybody, to say, hey, I really appreciated this about you, or hey, you bring this value to my life, and I want to make you aware that people see you. That's important.
Our counselor, our school, we have a phenomenal school counselor, and Maggie Walsh, and she did a activity with my students just last week, and it was called the Compliment Circle. And so they randomly picked names out of a hat, and then they had to give that person a compliment. And she said, and you can't say they're nice. You have to be specific about how they are nice. Yeah. And, at first the kids were very kind of taken back by it. And she goes, and it can't be a physical characteristic that you name about them. Like you have nice hair. It has to be something about their personality that you value about them. And I envisioned this with adults, and I'm like, adults would have trouble with this. Some adults would have trouble with this. So, but the kids really did good. It took them a few rounds to really figure out how it worked, but they really got into it. They did a good job.
That's really awesome. I think that's so important. And that is completely important for not only your students, but for adults too. You could do that at a staff meeting. Yes. I always joke with Jeff Gargis. Jeff Gargis plans, not to go on a rampage here, I'm not going to stand on my soapbox. Jeff Gargis plans the dorkiest icebreakers when we all get together at quarterly meetings. I know you haven't been to one yet, Becky. You just wait. And they're always like really hard. You have to think a lot. And I always joke with him. I'm like, this is too much pressure. This would be one that he would pick where he's like, give someone a compliment and you'd have all these rules.
And all these criteria. Yeah.
Love it. So fun.
That's funny.
Well, I know we've got a lot of comments. I'm so appreciative that you guys joined us for Mastery Chat this week. Next week is going to be even better because Becky will be hosting with her friend. It's just going to be a blast. Becky, do you have your topic pick yet so you can preview for us right now?
Yeah, so our topic is about coding.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And yeah, which I have to say, so, Jared Hamilton, who, like I said, who I'm doing this with, he is definitely he knows more about coding. So I'm more of the teacher who's just breaking into coding. Yeah. And he's more of, I consider him kind of on another tier, but he actually definitely pushes me to think outside the box and stuff too. And so I recently took a kind of an intro, fundamentals of computer science and fundamentals of coding class, and I learned a ton. I love it. So I've already got the kids in my class set up on it. So.
Oh, I cannot wait for that topic. I'm so stoked for next Thursday. That's going to be awesome. I do have to joke. Adam must be fibbing because Adam posted, no way, Jeff does something dorky? Never. Jeff Gargis did something dorky always.
And Katie's here. Hi, Katie.
Oh, hey. Before we go, Becky, there is a big thing going on with our team tomorrow morning, and I just want to highlight it really quick. And I know this is lame. It's another thing that has to do kind of with me, but it's a team thing I'm super excited for.
It's awesome.
That's really yesterday I was live with Jeff and we announced that we have a brand new course coming to teachbetteracademy.com tomorrow morning. And I cannot believe it's finally out. I'm so stoked.
No, that's because it's such a big topic. Yes. And it's something that's it's a hot topic in my own school, about what do you do about retakes?
Yeah. It's all about retakes. So, it's called Retakes, and the subtitle, I want to make sure you guys know this in advance because it's really the pillars of what it's built on: request, reteaching, and reassessment. So the whole purpose of this course was sparked off of all of you giving us such great feedback off of a free download that we have at teachbetter.com. You can download a retake policy guide, and it gives you a contract. It gives you suggestions on for students to request wanting a retake versus just getting one or trying to figure out how that process gets started. It gives you an example email, and it was wonderful. I'm so glad that people have enjoyed it, but we kind of said, okay, we gave you all these tools. You felt like they were helpful, but let's take a really big deep dive into designing your own procedure that you can truly implement in your classroom. Mm-hmm. And the best part is it's going to work we say K-12, but I used it in my college class this semester, so it can work K through whatever to help you implement a system to allow students to retake in your classroom. So that's whether awesome. You have 12 students or 180, it will work for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited. So it'll be out tomorrow at teachbetteracademy.com. If you are, by the way, a member of Teach Better Academy, then it'll just show up automatically. For those of you that are a member, you get all those courses, you get access to everything. So it'll just kind of pop up for you. If you're not yet a member, I really encourage you. Becky, don't tell anybody I said this, but the Academy membership is so stinking worth it. Don't buy the course. Please don't buy the course. Do the membership because it's way cheaper. You can cancel it at any time. do not spend your money. Like, go enjoy what you need and then step away when you need to.
Yep.
But you do get access to everything. So
it's a huge value.
Yeah. And we publish a course every 30 to 40 days. So even if there's like not more than one course you might be interested in right now, there probably will be one next month that maybe sparks some interest. So I was really excited to be a part of this one. And Becky, I'm thrilled that you think it's a good topic, because I think that our group was needing it. So
yeah, no, it's awesome. I look forward to seeing it myself.
Should be good. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, everybody.
And for our live, Becky, thanks for coming live with me. It's always so fun to chat.
It is fun to chat. And now we have to, now, and it's almost Friday. So happy almost Friday, everybody.
Yep. Happy almost Friday. And yes, we appreciate you. So let us know if you ever need anything, and have a good night, guys.
Thanks, everybody.